Beautiful.
All right. Are we live? Are we live both places?
I see it on YouTube.
YouTube, we are live.
And Twitch, we are live. Okay, great. And
Guys, I'm about to buy so much merch.
Mm-hmm.
all right, I'm going to close all these extra windows just in case.
I'm so glad that our beloved audience who hates hearing me talk about sports now gets to hear me talk about sports.
So what I'm hearing is Mavericks and Destiny crossover. Is that what we're getting?
Seems like
You know what? If they put a
Luka
Luka
final
Doncic
boss.
skin in Overwatch, I would play Overwatch.
look,
He's top 500 in the world. I think he deserves his own skin.
Mm-hmm.
He
He'll,
does.
he'll get a Fortnite skin.
I would
You'll
actually
like
be
it.
100% okay with that. I'm not even joking.
Oh man.
He's gonna
They do have a partnership with the Jordan brand, so
get a prime energy pickaxe and
that's disgusting. Shut your whore mouth.
All right.
a basketball back bling.
Josh, are you ready?
All right, count us down, Corey. I'm ready. I've got the questions pulled up. Count us
All
down.
right. 3, 2, 1. All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back after some incursions from the Vex.
Yeah, they infected me.
They really did. They infected they infected the podcast.
You could just tell people I had to pee. That's okay. We had to stop the
Oh,
podcast
that's
for
all.
another pee
That's
break.
a long. We stopped so that I could watch
a
the
long
back
pee.
half of the fourth quarter in the Western Conference Finals. Luka Doncic is going to the NBA Finals. For all of you who hate hearing me talk about sports, you got another 2 weeks of it.
You know what, Josh?
Because the finals will be going on.
I love it.
Sports casual.
I love it too. I'm actually like
Sports casual.
genuinely like a little emotional. This is the first time since we won that we've been back there. I worked at the arena that season. It was very cool to see in person when we won the title. This is a very cool moment. This is a very special moment.
You know, we could do a seasonal podcast called Dallas Casuals, where all we do is talk about the Mavericks.
No, I would never do that.
Gross.
I would be completely insufferable. Jiggly Panda writes in and asks, if there was one thing you would change about this pod for the next 200 episodes, what would it be?
It would be Josh never talking about the Mavericks again.
Fuck you.
That's
my get him.
That's a lot.
It would be Josh only talking about the Mavericks.
It really would be.
Before the next 200 episodes.
I actually have a semi-serious answer to this. I'd love to have more discussion about builds and guns and things like that. I feel like that's some of the best content that we produce is when we have these long-form discussions. Not even specifically about like weapons, but some of my favorites are when we get to break down, like we have like these long 2-hour talks about something that's happening in the game. And it's not just, well, we had a twid this week. Well, we had this week. Like, I think it's really fun when we get to break down the nuances and the ins and outs of the game. I really love that aspect of doing a pod. That's my favorite part. Is picking everybody's brains. So, and I would say also getting more guests on here outside of our stable of friends. I love you guys, but we want to we want to expand.
Fuck us.
So
yeah, man.
No. I mean, like, listen, I can call you guys up on any Thursday and be like, hey, can one of y'all fill in? Like, one of us had an emergency tonight, and both of you have actually had to do that before, and you guys don't hesitate to say yes. I'd like to pick some more brains in the community. So
my brain's not good enough for you anymore. I hear you.
Oh, it's more than
he
good
wants
enough.
more hunters.
Jeez.
I hear it.
We don't need any more
Ugh.
hunters.
Gosh, that's gross.
And then, Jiggly Panda also asked, can we get an updated DLC ranking and seasonal rankings? Well, you're in luck because we're going to rank the DLCs next week.
Mm-hmm.
After, maybe not next week, but in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we will rank those and we will give you we'll do seasonal rankings. probably when we get most of the way through Echoes, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of snuck up on us. We probably would have done rankings a few weeks ago had I thought about it. Also because I'm 100% classifying Into the Light as its own season going forward for our specific rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to be able to accurately break those down. But you will get those both this summer, and of course, as is tradition, when the raid comes out, you will get an updated raid list ranking from me and whoever else is there. So maybe we'll give you campaign rankings next week. Maybe that's a better thing to promise.
Oof.
Yeah.
Campaign rankings. Although I'm even hesitant to do that since we won't have the final mission yet.
We
I don't know. You'll get rankings over the next
do.
month. You're getting rankings.
Here's what we should do. Okay, Josh. Next week, campaign review. 2 weeks after that, or a week after that, we'll do the campaign rankings, and then the following week, we can do the expansion rankings, seasonal rankings, whatever. Unless there's some really big story stuff going on.
There's gonna be a lot of story stuff.
If
you could sit down with any Bungie dev, what are 3 questions you're asking them? I don't know. What instead of 3 questions, why doesn't everybody give one answer to this question? Just because there's 4 of us here for time's sake.
Yeah.
Because it is actually very late.
Yeah. What would you? I would ask. What have you learned over the course of the 10 years that you wish you would have knew at the beginning? And would you have changed anything?
Nerd, what would you ask if you could talk to a Bungie dev?
I mean, I know they've already said we're going to learn more about it soon, within the next couple weeks. But I want to know what's next, like long term, more than anything right now.
Joe,
I've always wanted to know when Sparrow Racing League is coming back, baby.
Oh my god!
Yes,
I need it back.
Spoken like a true gen.
I need it back. Skimmer Racing League. I need it.
I think there's a few questions that could be asked of Bungie. I think it would kind of depend on who I'm sitting down with, but I think some of the more burning questions that I would have is how did you settle on the lack of content for Curse of Osiris? I know that's a really sore spot for Bungie, but how did you decide that? Why did you guys decide to axe the entire Destiny 1 story 10 months before launch? Would be another burning one. But those have kind of been talked about to an extent in Jason Schreier's interviews and books that he's written about the situation. I think the burning one for me would be how do you plan to evolve seasonal events going forward? Because I think we can all agree that the seasonal events like Solstice and Guardian games and whatnot are starting to feel really stale. Have felt stale since we started this show, as a matter of fact. Haven't really done a whole lot to change them. But yeah, I think other than that, my main question is just kind of nerds. What's the future? Not even just game wise. How do you plan to expand the franchise? You said that was such a huge part of the sale to Sony. Are you still going to be able to pursue that or not due to not meeting your financial targets? So there's definitely a lot of things, and I think it's all depending on who you get to sit down with at Bungie. Because different devs and different departments are going to have different answers to these things. Tiger Jesus, another person who's been writing in for years and years now. I think back to the time of episode 50, we've been getting questions from you. Would you rather fight 200 tormentors, 200 champions, or answer 200 crossover questions? Well, it's not the champions. I would probably say I would rather fight 200 tormentors. Ones that I can finish.
Do we get unlimited supers like in Onslaught?
Yes. Executive decision, you get that and you get Edge Transit.
Rat Kings only.
So don't joke about that. Joe got a clear on Legend Onslaught using Rat King.
Our first clear on Legend, we used Rat Kings only, and it went great. It went great.
It's funny. I know exactly who you were in there with too.
Tiger Jesus is real 200 question. Real 200 question. What sandwich or meal could you eat 200 times in a row?
Earl of Sandwich.
Well, we knew where Corey was going with that.
Hashtag sponsored by Earl of Sandwich.
I wish.
Nerd, give me yours. Give me your dish.
I mean, so this is 200 times without getting sick of it. Is that what we're supposed to?
Sure. I'm not gonna say in a row. I'm gonna say 200 times without ever getting sick of the specific meal.
I already do that. I have bacon and eggs for breakfast every morning, so I could probably eat that over and over again. No problem.
How bad is your cholesterol?
Yeah.
Cholesterol's a lie. It's all just
Jesus Christ.
Made up.
It's all
right.
made up.
Joe, what would be your answer here, Joe?
Gotta rep my Italian shit. Lasagna every day. I'm with it.
How's his? Oh, no comments about his cholesterol.
No, I gave up on
I don't
Joe.
actively eat lasagna every day, but that wasn't in the question.
If I did, there would be signs.
That wasn't in the
it would be
you don't eat lasagna every day.
An owner named John. I've got kind of like a joke answer, and I've got a real answer. My joking answer is I could eat the spicy sandwich meal from Chick-fil-A like every day and never get tired of it. My serious answer is oh my god, if I hadn't up being my serious answer, I think I just forgot my serious answer. Jesus Christ. Joe was talking about lasagna, now that's all my brain's going to. No, my serious answer is
lasagna.
my serious answer is Pequot's Pizza in Chicago. I legitimately have considered buying a plane ticket, going to Chicago for the weekend just to eat there like 3 times and fly back. That's how much I love that pizza. It is the only deep dish pizza I've ever had that I actually liked.
And you have the nerve to talk about our cholesterol when you're buying plane tickets to...
I do. Well, I didn't say I've done it. I said I've considered it.
When you're out here...
I was going to go a long weekend and go to breweries, Joe.
When you're out here...
So I was also going to feed my alcohol problem. I might make a stop at Buffalo Trace on the way back.
Jeez. I want some Chick-fil-A now.
Oh my god, yeah.
Here's the thing. I used to eat the spicy chicken sandwich all the time. And then at one point, I turned 35, and it just started shredding my insides.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that point yet, thank God. 32 on the day the final shape comes out, by the way, people.
Looks like I got another 9 years before it shreds me to pieces. So
it's funny how once you hit a certain age, Corey, your body just starts working against you.
I know. That's why
mine is starting to do that with dairy.
Yeah, that's why I eat egg whites and turkey sausage for breakfast.
Oh, come on, get some real meat up in there.
Hey, hot take here. Hot take. Turkey sausage, turkey bacon, turkey burgers. Delicious, and I'm not going to go back on that. I'm sorry.
I think turkey sausage is better than regular sausage, but regular bacon
I won't go that far.
Regular bacon.
I won't go that far. Obviously, all the real stuff is better, but turkey sausage, turkey bacon, and turkey burgers are all bomb. I'll stand on that hill.
All right, we have one more question tonight.
You'll probably be the last one standing on that hill because we'll all be dead from cholesterol.
And I'll stand on it, yep.
I'll be dead inside of a pizzeria in suburban Chicago.
And then we'll all come back as guardians. We'll all get ghosts.
Exactly.
And then
No!
I think Joe's too much
of a look at Josh. The ghost will look at Josh and his pizza-stained face and be like, ooh, I don't know about this one.
Not this one, no. No.
No, this was
fat from strength.
He drank 42 beers.
Yeah, damn, he died with a piece of deep dish in his hands and a pitcher of Goose Island. Should we really arrest this guy?
I don't know. That might be the savior. You're the prophesized one right there.
That's true. I am the chosen one.
Guardian.
All right, final question of episode 200. Hail Hydra writes in and says, so glad this podcast exists. You guys have helped me cope with school and a breakup and other stress. My question is, do you think there will be any lasting negative consequences of the campaign in the final shape? Will we lose anything permanently, such as the city, the tower, or a person?
Traveler.
Yeah, I think the Traveler is probably dead after this, frankly. My guess for a person, because I've said for a long time, like we were going to lose a major person. No, Amanda Holiday does not count. I do really think that this story trailer makes it seem like we're losing either Zavala or Ikora. I don't think Cade was intended to come back as a permanent NPC, but I'm pretty convinced that he will be now, simply to have Nathan Fillion be the voice of the franchise after the tragic passing of Lance Reddick. I think we can all agree that post Nathan Fillion, Lance really, they really ratcheted up the Zavala story beats, and Lance really got a chance to shine. I mean, even in the passing that his family made about his passing, they noted how much he loved the Destiny community.
He was playing
the night before
the final mission of Lightfall the night before.
Yeah, and we know we now know the final voice lines he ever recorded were for Season of the Deep, some of his most emotional lines. It's really bittersweet. Nerd and I were talking about this the other day. There is no doubt in our minds now after that trailer that Keith David was the perfect person to step into the shoes.
Yeah.
But I do think that they
killed it.
I feel like they want to keep that to a minimum, though, to honor Lance's legacy. I would not be shocked to see Zavala's journey, whether it's killing him off or just letting him retire off screen in the tower. I would not be surprised if Zavala does not have a major story beat going forward after this. I don't think they'll kill him off. I don't feel like they'll kill him off. They kill anybody, it's Ikora. I think Ikora's got it.
There's always the option that they just stay in the Traveler. Well, like, what if, like, based off of that story thing, what if, like,
I mean, it's entirely possible.
What if, like, after we beat the Witness, Zavala can, like, manifest his wife and his daughter, but, like, in the Traveler, and just stay with them? I think that would resolve his arc well personally.
Yeah.
And he hands over the keys to Osiris, Crow, and Saint, maybe.
Cade. It's Cade.
Be the new Drake.
I think the Vanguard is done. The Vanguard as an institution has shown that it's done. If anything, you're going to get a new consensus out of this, I believe, with Keitel, Mithrax, Cade, Crow, possibly Eris.
Kind of like the in Mass Effect, where all the races take a post.
Yeah. Kind of. Elsie can be the representative for, Braytech, or for the Exos, whatever.
What if Zavala gives his ghost to Mithrax or Ido?
I would actually really hate that. Because Zavala doesn't have a story beat with those two. That's my issue with it. He doesn't have a story beat with them. It would be more impactful if Saint's ghost rezzed Mithrax, in my opinion.
That's true, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think, like, guys like Saint will continue to exist in the world simply because, like, they're vendors he's a vendor for trials. Yeah. But you can have them actively retire from story beats, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm very interested to see what they do here. Because I don't think the solution is just like, for a story to have stakes, you don't have to kill somebody. But we clearly know the Vanguard is going to be tried. They're going to see glimpses of what their futures could be as disciples, what their past could have been. I'm sure there's going to be promises like, we can undo things that happen. Very Emperor Palpatine-esque. So, Joe, you were the one who pointed out to me, like, oh, damn, that looks like the shack from Zavala's past.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then, we see Cade standing over a body, too. Is that us? Is that Cade standing over his own body from the core, or is it our body from Corridors of Time? There's some really interesting questions to be asked there. We are not going to answer Hydra's second question. Any last minute story predictions for Echoes? We don't know. Echoes is going to be directly influenced by the campaign.
Dependent on what happens. Yeah, like it's like.
But it clearly feels like since it's Vex themed, it's probably going to carry on from some themes that were explored in Wish, like why the Vex were invading the Dreaming City in the first place, things of that nature.
I will say I would love a dungeon that just dumps us at the start or at the end of the Glassway Strike and just says, "Go inside."
Yeah, I would like that. I really do think I think it's going to be an expansion.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe the next real expansion after this, because I think we've all agreed it needs to be Vex themed.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really go anywhere else with any of the other races, really, right? I mean,
no, and that's what I do think that once we defeat the Witness, like maybe some of those species that have been calcified in the pyramid ships maybe are dispersed back to their original planets.
Thaw out.
Yeah, and I mean you can literally go anywhere with that. So, we're gonna go back to some memories. We have a lot of these to get through. I didn't realize how many of these we actually had. Joe, I'm gonna respectfully, we're gonna save yours till towards the end. I'm gonna give you the floor to talk a little bit. Both you and Nerd. But you guys are still entered for the giveaways. Nadiki writes in, there have been a lot of great memories formed here in the last couple of years. From running Lightfall Legendary Campaign on day one to the Misadventure Crew Raid mishaps to running Warlords day one with Green Crayons and Nox. I was recently helping Airmail, Attic, and Saint get their whispers, and Saint is xenophage after who knows how many years. My favorite memory for sure was doing contest mode Root of Nightmares with you guys. So many inside jokes were formed, and the excitement when we beat planets and later Nez was crazy. I hope we can do it again come Final Shape. In loving memory of that run, Nadiki, get your ass back here. Great. That is my entry for my favorite Destiny moment. Is Dealer yelling that during Final Stand of Nez. Nadiki, I hope you understand how much we appreciate you, and we say that out of a place of love and respect, and not belittlement. That is genuinely one of the funniest things I've ever seen somebody do.
Get your ass back here.
After getting stomped on by the Explicator. Green Crayons writes in, doing day one Warlords with y'all is when I felt I finally found a new gaming home after my last group fell apart. Shout out Nadiki and Nox for being stuck in jail with me for a solid 30 to 40 minutes. Yeah, I think we all had that. Nerd and I ran it with Sammy, and we were like, how the fuck do we get out of here? Like, we spent more time in there than we did in combat.
We never got out. We're still in there.
We're still
trying to
fingertips on the surface of my mind.
Jeez. It's all a Vex stim. All of us are still in those jail cells.
Better Tesla writes in and says, I have to say, ever since Lightfall came out, my enjoyment went up while playing Destiny 2. It wasn't because of any changes to the game, it was because I found a caring community, came into the clan through Ronnie, and ever since that happened, I haven't looked at the game the same way. It used to be I was nervous to meet new people. I'd gotten used to the 9-to-5 work life of wake up, work, go home, and sleep. It caused me to get a little closed off. I remember thinking how I wanted cool raid gear, but I didn't have anyone to play with. Then I got a chance to do Ron through the clan, and I took it. It was my first ever raid, and my first time actually taking this game way more serious, so I had sweaty hands on the controller the whole time. As we went through the encounters, people complimented on how I was doing, and everyone was super laid back and telling jokes. Two people who made it easier for me were Ronnie and Saint. I remember beating my first raid and being filled with joy. I acquired raid weapons and made new friends. Since that time, I've helped by participating in other raids and getting others through them. I even got to meet Fox and help fix his house so he could get back in the game. This clan is amazing. These are the stories I really like hearing, man. This is what it's about. This is absolutely what it's all about right here.
Yeah.
Saint has one here, but it wouldn't let him post the full thing. It only let him post a paragraph. He has like some kind of restriction. I don't know what it is, but I have his in DMs.
The Bruce restriction.
The Shadow Realm. This is this is very long, but we're gonna go through it. Where do I start? I've been a solo player for the majority of this game, and I've never felt more welcomed into a community. Even after finding my dad in here after 19 years, Ronnie, and Uncle Aaron. From the moment I joined, it was all welcoming and love, even without knowing me. Dealer and Joe were the first ones to help me out getting Galley over 2 years ago, and now I'm helping people get whatever they need. Some of my favorite memories are definitely going to be running Legend Lightfall with Ronnie and Aaron. The first mission, I was the one who was grabbed up by the Tormentor, and as I feared for my life, they laughed with pleasure. Never felt more at home, and since then, I've developed an almost 2.5 year relationship with those guys, talking every day. Gotta say, another couple favorite memories for me are my first time going flawless in D2 solo, and then soloing a couple dungeons. I never thought I'd be able to do this with myself, but this community has definitely given me a lot more confidence in the game and even myself. And those definitely do not include taking people through raids. Getting someone their first clear feels amazing, because I remember when I was the guy being taught and carried and kicked from the fire team. But now I'm in on the opposite side of the fence and get to hear the shouts of joy and the let's go moments when killing a boss or someone getting the exotic who didn't have it. The small things I wasn't able to experience until I joined this group. From doing carries with Misadventure Crew or bullshitting our way through whatever obstacle this game has thrown at us, it's been a fun ride. I've never had such a great group of people to call friends. The Tower Casuals isn't really a community, but rather a family of misfits who fit perfectly together. So thank you both for giving this to us, a safe space to adopt a guardian. Y'all are gonna make me get fucked up.
I feel like there might be some tears later. I feel like there's definitely some emotions building right now. We're only halfway through these. Tiger Jesus writes in and says, I don't know if I have a favorite memory, but the times I do get to raid or do dungeons with this community have been the best times I've had playing Destiny. Sammy writes in, been listening since Season of Arrivals episodes, which were some of the first. Yeah, Sammy is an OG. They've been here since day one. They genuinely have been here since day one. I gotta say, I'm glad this show's been a part of my weekly routine. The chemistry between Corey and Josh is immaculate. Both y'all have such a genuine passion for the game. This pod has saved me from Destiny burnout many times, and there have been times that I almost stopped playing the game, but then that week, listening to an episode or hearing even the smallest amount in your passion for the game has reeled me back in. My favorite memories is a hard one because I consider finding the pod to be a favorite. I think the original Root of Nightmares clear I did with the community sticks out to me. My old clan disbanded a few months or so before finding the pod, was very strict and was not a good environment. But to jump into Root with almost all of us doing it for the first time, but having fun and just enjoying it made me feel really good. As a primary solo player, I've always felt a little left out of things. I wasn't really doing raids or dungeons because I had no one before this to do them with, really. So every time I got to do something like that with this community, I cherish it, and it feels amazing to do. Thanks, Josh, Corey, and most importantly, thanks to everyone here. Let's kick the witnesses' ass together. Oh, boy. Okay.
You're here.
All right. Here.
It makes me feel good when you hear people talk about this community that we've put together, right? And I guess everybody else has put it together. We just kind of are here, but and it just makes me feel good that everybody treats each other good and helps everybody out. And there's no assholes in this community, really, right? I mean, the few that have been there, we've kicked some of them out, right? But overall, I don't know. It's weird seeing a community like this, but also really heartwarming that it exists, right? And I don't know. I really like hearing stories like this.
Yeah. We've got a couple more, including one from show regular A1 Johnny. It's been a wild ride. Survived the pandemic and seen Bungie change ownership twice since I met Josh back in Season of Opulus. Found him on a random subreddit when my friends quit playing Destiny. Did my first raid with him and his crew. Since then, we've done every raid, dungeon, exotic mission, and I've even bullied him into running GMs with me. But he's been a good friend, and through the silly podcast, I've made a few more. That's been the real end game all along, eh? But I have to say, my favorite part is getting to bully children at JoASIS and make fun of the elderly at Nerd at the same time. Much love, Guardians.
I feel targeted.
Same, but in a good way.
Nerd posted this for Fox since Automod hates him and Saint, apparently. The most insane thing about this whole Tower Casuals thing is that I've met some of the most amazing and interesting people in the world. That's a very long list of names. However, I can say that I've interacted and played with most of the people in this clan. I started listening to this pod quite a while ago, probably about 2 years if my math is right, but let's get to the list. You've been listening longer than that, Fox. You were writing in before episode 100. I remember explicitly. I'll start with one of the first friends I made here, my dear buddy Ronnie. This old fart has been a constant positive reminder in this game. He's always itching to do something, even if it's just goofing around in the tower. I confided a lot about my personal life to him, and he's always given some of the greatest advice a young fella such as myself could receive. Through him, I met Saint, Aaron, and Tesla, the latter of which I'm indebted to greatly as he drove over 2 hours to come and help me get my electricity fixed so I could keep gaming. To the entire Misadventure crew, I love each of you as if you were family. The laughs and joys, not Joes, that we've had through the entire existence of that little pocket gang will resonate with me for the rest of my life. Joe, mi amigo, you're one of the most chill mofos I think I will ever meet. Always around for shenanigans and clowning with some of the most insane ideas. You are truly one of a kind. Which this mention of Joe bleeds into our Ron Day 1 team. We fucking did the thing. It took us 13 hours to beat the damn thing, a feat I didn't think was possible with our 3 brain cells combined. The team was composed of myself, Joe, Finn, Nadiki, Dealer, and Rex. Y'all are real ones for enduring me blasting myself with a rocket every 10 seconds of that raid. That 13-hour window was some of the most exhilarating hours I've ever experienced. How could I possibly forget Nerd, the man behind the curtain? Through a simple DM, we found out we grew up in the same town, and at that time he was living it up in PA, and we talked on and off for a while until he moved back to Little Ohio. We met up at a bar I work at, and let me tell you, he is one of the tallest sumbitches I've ever met. Shout out to the mod and events team. Y'all are really the folks keeping the server moving in an interactive and fun direction. From the raid nights to sussy Sundays, shout out Joe, and fashion contests to the dungeon crawl. You guys really keep stuff moving here, and I love it. And last but most definitely, the host of the show, Josh and Corey. Thank you guys so much for this community. You've gotten me through the hardest 2 years of my life, from being in some super low places to super high places. This show has helped and saved me in ways that are impossible to count. I'm eternally grateful for the community you guys have spawned simply out of love for the game. There's no other community in the world I would rather be a part of. This is truly a warm and welcoming place for all Guardians. I love the entire server and the people within beyond any words. If I have a favorite memory, it'd either be Aaron just straight up walking off the edge and me literally dying, or our day 1 run. I'm done gushing about y'all, and to anyone I did not mention, I love y'all equally as the people I did mention, except Aaron. Now, let's go get this Megamind-looking son of a bitch.
Man, Aaron must have walked
Aaron
off
catching
that
strays, man.
ledge.
Yeah, the fact
Aaron
that everyone in that
walked
crew has written in with the same memory is funny to me. All right, we've got we've got one more before we get on to some personal thoughts from the 4 of us and start wrapping this up. Airmail writes in and says, stumbled onto the pod when I came back to D2 in early 2022. When my clan eventually succumbed to Destiny fatigue, I jumped in the clan. I finally feel like I found a collective of gamers I can be myself around. I love the community mentality and approach to helping each other. There's a unique dynamic here. We have top-tier players that are basically artists in-game with their knowledge and skill, alongside eager newcomers grinding to fill their exotic list and war chest out, not to mention the gang of misfits that adopted me. Nerd is a huge asset to engage and keep the group coming back. This community is obviously a labor of love with so many contributors on so many levels, but thanks for keeping the lights on and seeing this thing through to whatever shape we get. And we have one final one from Cade6. Cade writes in, not a question, but just a general post of gratitude. I've been listening to the pod every week since episode 130, after World Jukebox introduced me to you guys. Another OG, by the way. The sense of belonging you and the community has is amazing, and you guys should be extremely proud of what you have built. I look forward to listening every week and learn more about the game I have learned to love. Congrats on episode 200 to all your future endeavors, and always remember, it's been a week.
Here, here.
The reason that I skipped over the final 2 that we have are from Joe and Nerd, and it's not that they did not write heartfelt posts. I actually really got choked up reading Nerd's earlier today, but I wanted to turn the floor over to you guys and let y'all say whatever you want to the community before Corey and I say our piece, and we read a final lore corner before we go into the great unknown. So,
Joe, you want to go first?
Joe, yeah, we'll turn it over to Joe.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I've always felt like this community, like first and like it's never been an LFG. It's never been a place. It's always been a place to find friends, and I think I don't think anyone could put a number on the amount of friendships that have been like forged and found in the walls of this podcast and this Discord. And I like truly I don't know where I'd be in life if I never got in here. So I thank you guys.
You are forever welcome. Thank you. You have done so much in this community. I love that we had Sussy Sundays brought up.
Yeah,
That's one of the first things I remember you doing in the server.
I still think back to that one night that there there was like 15 people in there, and it was chaos, and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
Nerd, would you like to take the microphone for a minute?
I was trying to go back and look to see what the first episode I did with you, sons of bitches, was.
You have been here since the very beginning. You were in one of the very early episodes.
Well, I'm looking.
You.
I'm looking at the YouTube channel, and I can definitely pinpoint back. It was like episode 12. I think I was on that one.
It was around the time that we were running all the raids before they took them out.
And I think I did one even before that, but that's neither here nor there. So
we've wiped some of the old episodes. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's understandable. Well, I've seen you guys evolve this whole thing from very early on to where it's at now, to just being a couple people hanging out and talking about Destiny, to having a community where you've got hundreds of people in a Discord server and 10, 20, 30 people watching streams. I know was here for episode 100 and it was popping then. And I want to say I'm really proud of what you guys have created. I'm proud to have been a part of it. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to sort of steward the community, at least from a Discord perspective. And I've met a lot of cool people and a lot of great friends as a result of it. And I consider everybody here on the panel right now a personal friend, and met a lot of personal friends in the server as well. So thank you for what you guys have created. I think you've given a lot to the community, more than what you maybe realize. And, I hope we continue doing it for as long as we possibly can. And from there, I think the friendships will continue even after Destiny ceases to be a thing in its current form. So good job.
Yeah, I really couldn't have said it better myself, honestly. Corey, you got something you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot I want to say, but I'm going to try to keep it.
The floor is yours. My throat's very tired right now.
Yeah, no, I know it's getting late for everybody, but Josh, when we started this, all I wanted to do was talk about Destiny with someone, right? And
yeah,
before this podcast even started, right? I met Josh in a random Facebook group where we were searching for sleeper simulant, right, in Destiny 1. And we were trying to figure out this puzzle that didn't exist, right? And
yeah.
Well, the first puzzle that didn't exist. And
first of many.
We became friends through there, and you and I have been doing content on and off together for a while, either separately or together. And when the pandemic started and Destiny was kind of like a safe space for not just us, but for a lot of people, right? And we just kind of hung out and started talking about Destiny and turned it into this. And when we started the podcast, I didn't know where it was going to go or how long it was going to last, and I didn't expect it to turn into this. Right. Out of all I do a lot. I do too much. I do a lot. And this show is by far the biggest thing that I do, by far, by a long shot. And and sure, to an extent it's it's the show, it's us, Josh, but I think a large part of it has to do with our community and Nerd and Joe and Ronnie and everybody else who helps people run raids and do dungeons and nightfalls and grandmasters and dealer running people through stuff, and it's this thing has become bigger than the show itself. And
Yeah.
you know, even if the show ended tonight, like I feel like the Tower Casuals has become something larger than just a podcast, right? It's just a group, a community of people who love the game, and it doesn't matter what skill level you are, how popular it is, how how bad or good you are, what you're into, what weapons you're chasing. Um, it's just a community who's willing to help everybody, and um, that's something that you can't manufacture. That's something that you can't, um, you can't buy a community. You can't, control a community. It just happened. And, Nerd, you have been a huge part of putting this Discord together. And, you know, Joe, you've been such a great leader throughout everything in this. And, and that's, I'm not, I'm talking to you guys directly because you're here, but I mean, everybody else who's been helping and leading and doing things, and bringing other games into it. Like, there was a Fortnite thing for a while, there was Helldivers thing for a while, there was I think Fallout 76 for a while. Like
Sussy Sundays.
there has been there's been a lot of things happening outside of Destiny too, and the fact that people get together and hang out or talk to each other or become friends, like lifelong friends, it seems, in a lot of ways, based on some of the things people wrote in. It's like it's a special thing. And like I said, it's bigger than the podcast, it's bigger than either of us, it's bigger than anybody. It's the community is a special place to be. And it I know, Josh, you are a huge part of this show. I mean, you are what makes this thing run, right? Yeah, I host and tell stupid jokes and everything, and make hot takes and whatever, but like your knowledge and the way you retain knowledge, and the way you're passionate about the lore and how quests work, and like the relationships between characters, and like all these different aspects of the game that you're just so knowledgeable about, is what makes the show, right? I mean, I don't even remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, okay? Like, let alone like lore from 2 years ago, and you're just whipping it out of your ass like, oh, this guy did this, and Osiris picked his nose on Neomuna because Strand fell out. I don't know.
Strand.
Yeah. So
Strand nose picks so hard.
But Josh, you're the heart and soul of the show, and I don't know if this would have ever gotten half as popular if you weren't as engaged as you are, because that's something that I wish I could be more engaged in the game, and
yeah,
you've made this show a special type of show that I don't know if anybody else could have pulled off either. So, I'm so grateful and appreciative of you as a co-host, and I think a lot of where we are is because of you specifically too. So,
y'all gonna make me act up.
Jilly.
Y'all really gonna make me act up.
But Josh, the maps won.
I don't handle people saying nice things very well.
That's fair. I don't either. So you better not talk to me.
Well, you better get ready, buddy.
Shit.
All right. Anything else, Corey?
No,
Well, kind of wrap us up.
I'm really appreciative of all three of you and everybody in the community and everybody in the chat and everybody who listens, and I just am appreciative of everything everybody does to contribute to this community, so that's it for now. I could keep going.
All right. I'm gonna try not to hold court here for too long. My voice is very tired. um, I'm gonna start with the community and to the people who've been here, whether you've been here for one episode or you've been here since episode one. We established, Sammy, World Jukebox, Tiger Jesus, Fox. You guys have been around forever. I remember the first time that Saint wrote into us, and I just dubbed him Saint from that point because I was not going to read his full name out on the air. I believe it was Saint 14's 14-inch taint.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, buddy.
But in honor of episode 200, I'll say the full name.
Long taint.
Seeing this show grow from something that had like 30, 40 listeners a week, we were happy to get questions from Joe. Joe was one of the earliest people to write into us, and now he's one of my best friends. I talk to Joe every day.
Joe was DMing me on Instagram questions before we even had the
Yeah.
Discord, right?
Questions.
I was DMing questions. I used to be like, who is this Joe guy who's following me on Twitter, randomly soliciting Destiny opinions to me? For everybody who's listened since the beginning, to the people who have been super active in the community, whether it's through questions, through helping people do content, just general discussion, I feel like we just have such a caring community. The people that I see all the time, Knox, Tesla, Sammy, and the DK, Ronnie, Aaron, things don't happen without you guys. The Misadventure Crew's been such a huge part of it. Fox is a gigantic part of it too. Always wanting to hang out. I know Fox is part of a few other groups that I'm in. If I was picking memories, it would be definitely the day one run was one, but the Witch Queen campaign with Nerd and Colonel Panic will always stick out as a very special memory to me in Destiny. Loading in one by one very slowly into that first mission. And all of us just like, no, we'll come back. Just go. And we were holding up because it was like, oh, someone's joining your fire team. And we had to go all the way back to the beginning to get somebody. And it was great. Us getting really frustrated with the stupid fucking Savathun fight, sleeping on it, coming back the next morning and crushing it at like 7 a.m. It will always be some of my most treasured memories. Joe, a lot of what we do in this community doesn't work without you. You are really the instigator of a lot of our stuff that we like to do here, raid runs. You have been so accommodating to people who want to learn how to raid, who want to learn how to do dungeons, who just want to do higher end content, even just farm. Like, you have been one of the driving forces of that. I know we've established Ronnie and Saint and Aaron and Fox and Adiki as people who do that, but you were kind of the OG in that regard. When I think of somebody who wants to help people get through content, I think of you. I think of you helping other Guardians, and obviously, you and I are a part of, a friend group with John and a bunch of others. And, that's not just something that sticks around in our group. That is who you are as a person. You are somebody who brings out the best in people and who wants to see others get to have the same cool experience that you've had. And I think that's why we kind of became kindred spirits. In a lot of ways, whether it's the previously established Sussy Sundays or us making plans months ago to go through the final shape together because we are both such huge story aficionados and don't want to miss a single drop of what's happening. It has been a pleasure to to partner with you on a lot of things and to see you grow. I feel like I've seen you gain so much confidence from the time that I first met you, to where you are now wanting to set up runs. You are now setting up runs. You are leading people. And I have seen that not just, in terms of you, interacting with, groups that we play with, but, in terms of being a leader. Like I've seen you grow as a person. And there's no greater privilege as a friend than seeing your friends grow. Nerd.
Gosh, here we go.
I've long called you the secret third chair of the show. Without you, the community simply doesn't grow the way that it did. You were the first one to bring up the idea of a Discord to me and to Corey. For years, you wanted to get groups together, and they were valiant efforts, but we could never quite get beyond just our like normal friend group of like 15 people combined. And then you were like, you came to us before episode 100, and you were like, what if we do a Discord? And I was super against it. And I remember the conversation because I told you you can do it because you promised you would set it up, you would admin it, everything. I would not have to lift a finger, and I said done because I was so against the idea of a Discord. I have never been so wrong in all my years of playing games. The joy that this community has brought me is just so special. It has been a rough couple of years. You guys know everything that's gone on. But you've gone from somebody that I was happy to just have friends to play the game with regularly beyond, no offense, John. We grew the friend group beyond just you, me, Phil, and Max to play with Nerd and Colonel and Corey and everybody else, and you have become one of my very best friends outside of this game. You are somebody that I feel I can confide in, that I can talk to about anything going on in life. You were extremely supportive and checking in on me regularly after my mom got really sick, knowing everything that was going on there. You were such a supportive friend in that time and gave me a shoulder to just vent my frustrations to. I have never been good with dealing with my emotions. You were a very big motivator in me actually getting help. That it was, it's not unmanly to get help. That sometimes that's the best move you can possibly do for yourself. And man, I don't have enough words to describe what your friendship means to me. I don't think any words will describe it. I don't think any words can do it justice. Just man, I am a genuinely better person. I am a better friend. I am a better man because I met you and because I can say that you are my friend. I think it's really special when the bond between friends can go beyond just pixels on a screen and you can share the joys and triumphs in life with somebody. And I want everyone listening to this to know that there are no truer friends than people like Nerd in this world. If you find a friend like him who will be the most loyal person you have ever known, who will go to bat for you, who will be there to pick you up at a moment's notice, hang on to them. Like that, people like Nerd and Joe do not come along in life every day. I am extremely fortunate to have several friends that are like that, but I know not everybody does. And that's why I'm so glad we have this community because it feels like everybody else is finding those connections and those friendships that I have been fortunate enough to find through this silly little video game. So, Nerd, thank you for being you. Thank you for being an incredible friend. Thank you for being a great content partner. I have gotten to see you grow as a friend. I have gotten to see you grow as a creator. I have gotten to see you grow as a creative, as a man, as a father, and just like with Joe, like there's no greater privilege. Like this is more important than a game. There is nothing more important than seeing your friends live their absolute best life.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
And then
thank you,
Corey, man. What can I possibly say about Corey that has not already been said tonight?
Nothing.
There
Let's
is not
wrap
a
the
show. Nope. We're getting this out. I'm starting to get really emotional. We're getting this out before I have a full breakdown before Lore Corner. There is not a show without Corey. It's that plain and simple. It's that cut and dry. There's not a show without Corey. It was Corey's idea. He tweeted out that he had an idea to do a Destiny show and he wanted to call it Tower Casuals, and I sarcastically replied to him. I was like, damn, I really wish I could talk about Destiny. And that is literally how the show was born, guys. We just decided to do it, and that night we sat down and recorded what would be the very first Tower Casuals episode. There's been growing pains, like with any show in any community, but I think a show like this only works if you're doing it with your friends. When you find somebody that shares that same passion for the subject matter as you, and you find somebody who kind of complements your own skill set. When we first set out to do this, I just really wanted to talk about the lore, to be honest. This show really reinvigorated my love for the game. I probably would have fallen off the game a very long time ago if I was not doing this show, to be frank. There's been a lot of ups and downs, and I think that's what really tests you as a content creator. And I think the fact that Corey continually produces and runs a show so effectively as he does with all of his other commitments. I don't know if you guys know how busy Corey is. I don't know if we've mentioned it before, but he's a little busy. Between producing and editing stuff at his day job, and then other shows outside of here, being a father, being a husband, like those are full-time jobs. You don't get to just put those down at the door at 8:30 when they go to bed. That's a full-time 24/7 gig. Um, I'm the asshole over here, who works from home and has a cat to take care of. So for Corey to continually come in here with a positive attitude and to be so excited for Thursdays, Corey, I've lost track of how many times you've told me how excited you are to do this show every week. Every Thursday, Corey messages me and is like, Josh, it's Tower Casuals Day. Every time when I log on, he's like, it's Tower Casuals Day, regardless of how long of a day here I have had. And I'm usually coming in looking half exhausted. Corey's cracking what has to be his third energy drink of the day.
That number
And that you might need to get checked out for that. And
Hey,
yet
doctor
the
said
show still the show still turns out the way it does. It is probably the closest thing to the tower being on fire that we can possibly imagine at times, but somehow the show continues to just churn along. And I think that everybody else nailed it, so I don't want to dwell on it too much, but it's gone beyond the show. It's a community. It's not just like, oh, join the Discord, join the clan, but Tower Casuals is anybody who listens to this. We wanted to show that in a community that didn't have to feel focused on the end game or on like the top 1% of the player base. This is a pod for those who are curious about the game, who want to just, who want to learn about the world, who want to hear some cool lore, hear some stories, hear two friends, sometimes three, cutting up, joking around. And I think that as the show has grown, we've both become a lot more comfortable sharing our lives with you guys. And in turn, you guys have shared them with us. There is nothing I can possibly say to Corey that will show the eternal gratitude I have for him asking me to do this with him. Um, this is by far and away the most successful pod I've ever done. A lot of pods will flame out before episode 100, and here we are 200 strong with plans for like 4 more in the next week and a half. There is not a co-host I would do this with otherwise. And better or worse, we're here. We are riding this to the moon, as some would say.
Maybe to Reese.
So that's really all I've got. Does anybody else have any final words before we do a lore corner and get out of here?
I have one more thing to say to you, Josh.
Hit me, Corey.
So, as you know, my life has changed over the course of this show quite a bit in multiple ways. And I don't get to play as much Destiny as I would really, really like to anymore. I still play a lot, but not as much as I would like to. And my game time is constrained to certain times of the day, or certain days of the week, like the weekends. And a lot of the reason why I'm excited for Thursdays is because, like, I know that you've done what I am either waiting to do or maybe don't have time to do at the moment. And, Destiny, like a lot of my Destiny playing is through Tower Casuals now, honestly. And like, I'm so thankful that I get to still experience the game how I want to experience it in a way, even though I sometimes have to wait a couple weeks or have to wait, a couple days to do the things that I want to do. And like I said, Josh, you say there's no show without me, but this show is not the show without you. And yeah, that's my final word. And this community is not the community without Nerd and JoASIS and Ronnie and Fox and
A1 Johnny, don't forget it.
We'll talk about him later.
That is somebody that I neglected to thank, but John genuinely, I said a lot of nice shit about John on episode 100. It's okay.
I mean,
Go back and listen to that.
I still DM Johnny sometimes for Titan builds. I mean, it's probably been like 6
I tell
months,
John
like
I appreciate him regularly, so.
Yeah, I open that DM thing to him like 3 times a week. I'm like, I need more Titan builds, but then I'm like, I don't know if I have the right stuff to do it, so maybe not. But yeah, Johnny, Tiger Jesus.
All right, guys, we have
Sammy.
We have. Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
I was just shouting out
trying to cut
everybody.
you off.
I can't name everybody that I'm grateful for. The list is too long.
We have one final lore corner for the Year of Lightfall. We read this a few weeks ago, but I think it's kind of perfect to encapsulate what I feel the show is about. And I'm not reading Gallarhorn this time. That is probably my favorite lore tab in the entire game, with fucking Randy and his tracking bad omens. But this is one from the Into the Light lores. We're not going to discuss it. We're just going to read it, and Corey will take us home. But it's called Hot Off the Shelf. From Ember Haddad, senior editor at the City Herald, presuming that's a city newspaper. My new friend is an unassuming young man in a torn flight jacket, still coated in a fine layer of dust. His ghost, Rivet, is looking impressively smug for a small metal being. They told me I'd never find my guardian, Rivet tells me. That I should try my luck with the Hive, but look at him, he's beautiful. Like all Risen, Rivet's beautiful new guardian has no memory of who he was, where he is, or what his purpose might be, but he nods agreeably when Rivet explains to him that guardians protect the last city. I'm here to fight Fallen and Cabal, the guardian says proudly, but only the mean ones. He's still figuring a few details out, Rivet says. It's been a very eventful past few years in the Sol system. I ask Rivet, at this point in time, how does a ghost go about getting their new guardian up to speed? Well, you start by warning them about what threats we'll be facing in the field, right? I haven't really gotten to the part about the end of the world just yet, though. Rivet's guardian looks confused. The world is ending? Vanguard operative Shah Han, my escort through the Cosmodrome and local shepherd of those he calls New Lights, has similar advice. It helps to focus on the basics. Let them test out their light, learn what they're capable of. The details can come later. Even now? Yep. Once they've got a hand on the little things, saving the world comes naturally. I cannot think of a better lore piece to close out episode 200 and to encapsulate this show and its community than this piece right here.
It was because of the Shahan reference, wasn't it?
I actually really laughed when I read this. The minute I read this for the first time, I knew we had to end 200 with this. I do find it cosmically funny that it's Shahan saying maybe the most poignant lines that I've seen since the Gallarhorn lore entry. And it's only fitting that this is coming like 2 years after that piece. So 2.5? 2.5. But yeah. Corey, why don't you take us home? Let's get out of here.
All right. Let's the final shape is the next episode.
It's upon us.
It's here. So I want to thank everybody out there for watching and or listening or watching live episode 200 of Tower Casuals. I owe somebody some silver. So because they guessed.
I will do a prize drawing tomorrow. I will have my partner hold the camera up and I will draw names out of a hat tomorrow for prizes. I may or may not have completely forgotten to write down everyone's names before we started. But if you submitted a memory to us tonight or you sent it to us in DMs, those will count. If we read it on the show tonight, it counts. I will do a video recording those tomorrow, and that will be, of course, for some silver, the Partners in Light lore book, and the Destiny 2 Steel book that I have. So your prizes will be mailed out probably on Monday. Fair warning.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Nerd, JoASIS, thank you for being here. All your contributions to this community and this show, and you know, Josh and I love you both. We really appreciate both of you. I don't know. You
Love
can
y'all
find,
too anytime.
yeah, you know where you can find Josh. You know where you can find me. Tower Casuals 200. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. And good luck against the Witness next week. Goodbye.